For 5 years, basketball fans have watched one of the most legendary rivalries unfold. Caitlin Clark versus Paige Bueckers. High school phenoms who chose different paths. Clark to Iowa, Bueckers to UConn. Clark dominated their college matchups, especially in the NCAA tournament. Critics like Gino Auriemma questioned if Clark could translate her success to the WNBA. Last night, these two faced off for the first time as pros when the Indiana Fever hosted the Dallas Wings. But what happened next wasn't just a game. It was Clark making history in a way that only she has ever done twice. Picture this. Two teenage basketball phenoms making waves across America, destined to clash for years to come. Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers first faced off in high school, both ranked as top recruits with completely different playing styles and personalities. Clark brought explosive scoring, elite passing, and deep three-point range. Bueckers showcased smooth efficiency, a sweet mid-range, and court vision that rivaled that of Clark's. I feel like she's played in the same manner that she, has since she was, whether we were on the U16 team together, U19 team together, whether it's me watching her in AAU, she's always just been smooth. She takes what the game gives her. Her midi has always been as nice as it's been this year. She's she just plays way older than she is. She's confident, she's smooth, she just does everything at a high level, can score from all three levels, and that's how she's always played, and that's obviously translated really well. Their college paths diverged dramatically. Bueckers chose the legendary UConn program under Gino Auriemma, joining a dynasty that had won multiple championships. Clark picked Iowa, a program hungry to prove itself on the biggest stage. This decision set up epic NCAA tournament battles that would define both players' legacies. Clark's Iowa team crushed Bueckers' UConn dreams in March Madness. Clark dropped monster performances when it mattered most, including a 41-point masterpiece that sent the Huskies home early. She outplayed Bueckers head-to-head, winning 2 of their 3 college matchups. Basketball analysts and fans started picking sides, creating this almost mythical rivalry that transcended college basketball. Gino Auriemma had specific criticisms of Clark's game. He questioned her shot selection and doubted her WNBA readiness compared to his own star Bueckers. Auriemma believed Bueckers' fundamentals would translate better to the professional level. Clark's explosive scoring and Bueckers' smooth efficiency represented 2 different philosophies of basketball excellence, and Diana said it best, "This kid's in for a rude awakening." And they all jumped over her, but they didn't read the whole thing that she said. But nobody's perenning, Diana Taurasi was right. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie. And if you're a WNBA player, if you're any kind of player, you're going to say, I'm going to make a statement. Both players declared for the WNBA, with fans wondering when they'd finally meet as professionals. The stage was set for their first WNBA showdown, with Clark holding a 2-to-1 college advantage but facing new questions about her pro game. The anticipation was massive. ABC picked up the broadcast nationally, knowing this matchup would draw viewers from across the country. Clark's recent struggles with the Fever made this matchup even more crucial for her reputation. Talking to our player development coach yesterday, and he was just sent me a few things of even Steph going through a slump. I think he was 27 for his last 70 or something like that. The best in the world go through it, and I think that's where you can find your confidence. And I think the thing I always fall back on is I know how hard I've worked, so this isn't something that's going to last, and the best players in the world go through this, so I feel like I'm getting good shots, and I think that's why it's frustrating, because those are the shots that I make. But here's where things get interesting. Clark's Fever were stumbling badly right before this massive showdown. The Indiana Fever had just suffered embarrassing losses to teams they should have beaten. The LA Sparks and Golden State Valkyries handed them defeats that left fans scratching their heads. These weren't powerhouse teams. They were squads the Fever should have handled easily. I feel like this stretch, this is a big game for us. I think we've struggled, and the fact that we're able to play one good game, and then we play a bad game, then we play a good game, then we play a bad game. So I think for us is we got to find a way to be able to stack really good games together, and then we go on the road, and we're on a back-to-back, which is just a challenge in itself. No matter who you're playing, we play Connecticut, then we play New York. So I think Steph's message was, yes, All-Star's coming up, that break's coming up, but our focus is on these 3 games that we have left. So In that sense, I do think it's critical that our focus just remains on the game in front of us, and I feel like that's what everybody in the locker room is doing. Behind the scenes, a philosophical war was brewing between Clark's fast-paced vision and Coach Stephanie White's slower approach. Clark wanted to push the tempo and create fast break opportunities. White preferred a more controlled, half-court style of play. This clash in basketball philosophy created real tension within the organization. Clark thrived on transition basketball, but White's system didn't allow for that explosive style. The exact moment when Clark and White had their heated sideline exchange during the Atlanta Dream game became a turning point. Cameras caught every word of their intense discussion. The visible intensity and disagreement between them revealed the depth of their conflict. Lineup inconsistencies made everything worse. Clark was returning from injury, trying to find her rhythm again. Damiris Dantas was back from playing with her national team. These changes disrupted their chemistry completely. The team struggled to establish consistent rotations and offensive flow. Players were still figuring out their roles with key pieces coming and going. The offensive mishaps that plagued the Fever were painful to watch. Missed shots piled up game after game. Turnovers killed promising possessions. The fast break magic Clark thrived on was completely absent. As Clark herself admitted, "I think we've struggled in the fact that we're able to play one good game and then we play a bad game, then we play a good game, then we play a bad game." Clark's shooting struggles became a major concern during this stretch. She acknowledged going through a slump but remained confident. "I'm never going to stop shooting," she stated, comparing her situation to Steph Curry's occasional cold streaks. The breaking point came when the Fever finally snapped their losing streak against Atlanta. They won that game, but tensions between Clark and White remained high. The philosophical divide hadn't been resolved. It was simply put on hold. You know, it can be frustrating when your shot isn't going in the way that you want it to, but then I look at the box and it's like, I'm really 4 shots away from having a really good game, a really good shooting game. So that's where you find your confidence. And I know those are shots that I can make, and I'm never going to stop shooting. So, until I break out of it, I'm just going to keep launching, and that's all I know, and I'm still confident in everything that I can do. The Dallas game became the ultimate test. Would White finally unleash Clark's preferred style? Or would the philosophical divide continue to hold back the team's potential? This internal struggle set up the perfect storm for the Bueckers matchup, with Clark desperate to prove her approach could work at the professional level. Then something magical happened. Stephanie White finally gave Clark exactly what she'd been asking for. Against Dallas, White made a crucial decision to let Clark control the tempo and run the offense her way. This wasn't just a small adjustment. White completely changed her approach and trusted Clark to lead the team at the pace she wanted. Early in the game, it wasn't clear if this strategy would work as both teams felt each other out in the first quarter. The Fever looked good, but not spectacular. They were finding their rhythm slowly. Clark was getting her teammates involved, but the real fireworks hadn't started yet. The Wings were keeping pace, and the game felt competitive. Then came the explosive second quarter when everything clicked. Clark started pushing pace like never before. She was finding teammates with those full-court passes, the ones fans called touchdown passes. The Fever scored an incredible 36 points in that quarter alone. They outscored Dallas by 21 points in just 10 minutes. This wasn't just good basketball. This was basketball poetry in motion. Clark's teammates responded to her leadership in amazing ways. Kelsey Mitchell caught fire, scoring 20 points on 8 of 12 shooting. She extended her double-digit scoring streak to 21 games. Mitchell was hitting shots from everywhere, feeding off Clark's energy and pace. Natasha Howard was running the floor like a gazelle, finishing with 18 points on an efficient 8 of 9 shooting. Howard looked unstoppable attacking the rim. Aaliyah Boston was dominating inside, using her size and strength to control the paint. She was finishing every opportunity Clark created for her. The chemistry between Clark and Boston was perfect. Clark would draw defenders with her speed, then find Boston for easy baskets. Here's what made this performance truly special. The Fever scored a franchise record 64 points in the first half. They were playing the most beautiful basketball they'd shown all season. This broke the previous record of 63 points set back in 2016 against the New York Liberty. The 64 points also marked the highest scoring half by any WNBA team during the 2025 season. The Fever's 30 assists tied a franchise record, and 13 of those came from Clark. This proved she could elevate everyone around her when given freedom. Clark wasn't just scoring, she was making her teammates better. The ball movement was incredible. Every pass had purpose. Every possession felt dangerous. Sophie Cunningham provided the perfect spark off the bench, adding another scoring threat that made the Fever unstoppable. Cunningham scored 13 points, including a driving layup that helped her reach 1,500 career points. Her energy and shooting ability gave the Fever another weapon that Dallas couldn't handle. The second quarter's 36-point output tied for the third most points scored in a single quarter in Fever franchise history. The team shot 76.2% from the field during this period. They went on a blistering 33-9 run that lasted nearly 8 minutes. The Wings had no answers for this pace and energy. The game became a complete blowout as the Wings couldn't match Indiana's pace and energy. Dallas looked tired and confused. They couldn't keep up with the Fever's transition game. Clark's vision for fast-paced basketball was working perfectly at the professional level. This wasn't just a win. It was proof that Clark's vision for fast-paced basketball could dominate at the professional level. White had finally unleashed the monster, and the results were historic. But here's the moment that will be remembered forever. Clark didn't just win, she made WNBA history. While dominating the game, Clark was quietly putting together a stat line that had only been achieved once before in WNBA history. She was doing everything on the court, scoring when needed, setting up teammates perfectly. And then something special started happening on defense. The numbers were building throughout the game. Clark had 14 points, showing she could score efficiently without forcing shots. She had 13 assists, proving she could make everyone around her better. And then the defensive plays started coming. Clark was reading passing lanes like a mind reader. She was anticipating the Wings' next move before they even made it. Here's the exact moment that made history. Clark recorded her 5th steal of the game, completing a stat line of 14 points, 13 assists, and 5 steals. This made Clark the only player in WNBA history to achieve this specific combination twice in her career. She now stands alone as the only player in WNBA history to post this stat line twice in an individual game. Clark's defensive impact went way beyond those 5 steals. She recorded a block that immediately led to a fast break assist to Sophie Cunningham. This play showed her complete court awareness and ability to create scoring opportunities through defensive plays. She was disrupting the Wings' offensive flow with her anticipation skills. Every possession felt dangerous when Clark was on defense. Paige Bueckers and the Wings had no answer for Clark's complete game. The most telling statistic was Arike Ogunbowale, going 0 for 10 from the field and finishing with only 2 points. Arike is supposed to be one of the Wings' best players, but Clark's defensive pressure and the Fever's team defense made her completely ineffective. This poor performance from a key player highlighted the Fever's total dominance. The Wings' strategy of being physical with Clark backfired completely. They resorted to grabbing her off the ball and not switching screens. This approach was ineffective because Clark used their aggression to find open teammates and drive to the basket. Every time they tried to slow her down physically, she found a way to make them pay. The final score of 102-83 told the whole story. Clark had answered every critic and silenced every doubter who questioned her WNBA readiness. This wasn't just a good game. This was a statement performance that showed she belonged among the league's elite players. This historic performance proved Clark wasn't just adapting to the WNBA. She was rewriting what was possible at the professional level. The rivalry with Bueckers had reached a new chapter, and Clark had written the opening pages in dominant fashion. I feel like this was one of their best games as far as playing Fever basketball, which is a fast-paced style of basketball. They played Fever basketball for, I would say, about 75 to 80% of the game, and we have obviously seen the style of basketball that we all know and love from the Indiana Fever, but we have only really seen it in short spurts. There have been so many games and so many times throughout this season where it feels like the Fever system is a slow-down basketball type of system. Their offense wasn't running smoothly, but in this game, they were playing quick. They were moving the ball around. They had so many points off of the fast break. The prophecy is now complete. Clark has proven she belongs among the WNBA's elite, while making history only she can claim. This blowout victory over Bueckers and the Wings shows the Fever's true potential when Clark is unleashed to play her style of basketball. The franchise records fell. The individual achievements piled up. Most importantly, the team chemistry finally clicked when White trusted Clark's vision. With the second half of 2025 approaching and this rivalry just beginning its professional chapter, Basketball fans have every reason to be excited for what comes next. The Fever face challenging road games against Connecticut and New York ahead,